Hey wadau, I hope mko fiti mazee. Asante sana for choosing our content. I'm your host Dr. Kingori. Najua unashindwa hizi vibes za Selassie zimetoka wapi? Chill. Story for another day. Karibu to our second part of our conversation with, our second segment of our conversation with the former chairman wa IEBC, Ahmed Issack Hassan.
Nowadays, I think they don't even have to tap your phone. They can use it by they can use it remote.
In case you've missed the first part, please angalia kwa comment section. I'm pinning a link to the first part of this conversation. Lakini bado vile nimwambia tunaenda step by step, na hii second part and third and fourth bado ni kama movie.
Kathy Kilonzo.
Yes.
Her father dies. Senator Mutula Kilonzo.
Yeah.
Then they front her because she was very popular in she was very popular in the representation at the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Those who wanted her to contest for her father's seat in the government knew what they did. I think, I suspect it is them who helped her to get the false voter ID card.
The whole story kwa hapa, chukua kitabu ujisomee.
Alafu wadau, hizi good vibes vile tunawaletea, vile nimwambia, we have partners who help us make this possible. Na sio ati hata kulipa tu bills hapa na pale peke yake. They also have value they would like to offer you. So kabla tuzame kwa conversation, please allow me to tell you something about our partners, Odoo. Now, for many years, businesses have needed almost 14 softwares to run their day-to-day operations. Unataka software accounting, unataka ingine ya sales, you need another software for marketing, you need a software for HR, and so much more. Wadau, isn't that time-consuming and cumbersome? Now imagine if you could run your entire business on one platform. So stop imagining, because you don't need to look no further than Odoo. This super platform has all the apps you need to run your entire business, and they're all interconnected. Sijui kama unaniget. Imagine communicating with your clients through WhatsApp directly from Odoo. Then your sales application creates a beautiful quotation which you can send directly and have your customer sign digitally. You can seamlessly manage production, packaging, and dispatch. You can sell both in the shop and online. And all this while having access to informative reports to aid your decision making. Not to mention HR and so much more. It's insane, man. The amount of time and money you stand to save, hata isimi. To add to it all, it's super easy to use and extremely pocket friendly. Ile app ya kwanza unachagua based on your business needs is free for life. For example, you can start with a website, and as you scale your business, you can add all the apps you need at a very affordable rate. Now, for my people looking to streamline operations, you can book a free consultation meeting kwa hii link iko hapa kwa description, or if you're just getting started, you can start with your first app on Odoo, which is free for life. Usiache nyuma mazi. Biashara kwa mtandao efficiently na teketeke. Link iko hapa kwa description.
I don't know how sensitive this is, but I found it interesting. You speak to the former NIS Director General, Michael Geshangi, about your phones being tapped.
Yeah.
And you told him, your boys are getting
I'm tell your boys to stop what they're doing. Yeah.
For holding the position you held, there is no privacy.
No. You see, nowadays, I think they don't even have to tap your phone. They can use it by they can use it remote. They can turn on your microphone and listen to you. Okay, not NIS, but I'm saying
yes, the technology. Yes.
Nowadays, yeah. But in 2012,
yes,
we were still not yet this technology advanced. So there could be you find your phone is very hot. Very hot. You can't even touch it. It's very hot. And then it hangs. It hangs a lot. You can't even use it. It hangs a lot. And then the thing is also you will find you hear your echo. You're talking on the phone. Somebody else, you're talking to somebody else, but you hear your own echo as you speak. So it becomes a very hard conversation with the person on the call.
Yes.
Because you're hearing yourself. And then finally it was the sound we hear.
Yes.
When you first pick the phone, somebody else also is putting it on somewhere else. Okay, you see, I as a lawyer, when I was doing my legal practice,
yes,
there's a time I was doing some work for a sheikh. He's very famous, very famous guy. He was doing some conveyancing in Mombasa. He was buying some land. So I called him on the mobile phone, to talk about his transaction. And as we were doing this, in the course of, I got a call from a friend of mine who works in NSIS and was based in Nyati House. So he called me and told me, Ahmed, I have seen your name in the call log of Sheikh so and so. What are you talking about? What is why? He told me. I told him he's my client. He's buying a land in. Oh, okay. So then he says, okay, fine. But I saw your name on your number, and your name on the call log, which means they were tracking that Sheikh.
Yeah.
And anyone who called him was logged in. So in 2000 and when I was in CKRC.
Yes. The
I saw
Constitutional Review Commission.
Yes. I saw that. I saw also how the intelligence was very keen to know what we were doing. And they used to attend actually in our public meetings.
Mm-hmm.
They will attend and they had their own reports, and we never know who they were. But sometimes, when like you go to Lamu Island, then you can't hide. They can't hide themselves anymore. This person has, because you see this person in the airport, you see him in the terminal, you see him in the hotel, and you begin to wonder, Allah, when you are following us everywhere.
Yes.
And so anyway, the fact is,
yes.
When you are doing a public office, which is very important, of course you will be surveilled. That is something which any national security body will do in the country, in any country.
And you know.
And you know it, yes. So I was telling him in a fun way, tell your boss to be much more smarter.
Yes.
And don't, I can't use my phone.
And he responds by telling you.
Who told you we're the ones who are listening? And he was right, by the way. He was right. Because if you remember, after the 2007 election violence and the Kofi Annan led peace talks in Kenya and the coalition government, the next election was 2013. It was the most observed elections all over the world.
Yes.
There was a lot of interest in that election. And who is going to take over the country after Kibaki?
Yes.
So the US had a lot of interest, the UK, the UN. I mean, there were a lot of other players who had equal, if not more, interest than NSIS. So it was right
true.
when you were saying that we told you I the only one who was listening to you.
So it's true, the things we talk about, that the election in Kenya has more parties interested than just Kenyans themselves.
In a way, it's good because it means that the international community can always intervene.
Yes.
If you are like Somalia or other countries where you don't care, then you will actually go down the drain and become a failed state. So it's good that we have international partners who are still very keen on what's happening in Kenya, because we are a very important regional power.
So anytime there's a threat to the nation itself, the travel advisories that these international development partners give, don't do this, they always come from a point of information.
Yes, of course. And if you say in the book, I talk about the travel advisories. When our ambassador in the US, Jean Kamau, complained, that you guys are our partners, and we are facing Al-Shabaab terrorist attacks in the country, and you make it worse by issuing travel advisories, which becomes a news on its own and scares even investors and tourists.
Yes.
And they told her, we don't do that. So we issue advisories to our missions and to our nationals. It's your newspapers which make it a headline. So it's not, don't blame our travel advisories. We issue to only ourselves. It is you guys who make it more public and give it more
leakages of information. And again, there's a concept that I also noted here. Other than the boundaries and the resources games, census is also a very, very big thing in this country.
Yes.
There's a lot of politics around census, like the counting of people. And there was actually a place where at some point, the Ministry of Planning and Development had cancelled the population census results for 8 districts,
Yes.
Wajir, Mandera, Garissa, and Turkana counties, right? Because the number was said to be more
Yes.
than
Yeah.
the. Okay, is it that they don't believe that the number could be that, or people inflated the numbers to achieve certain agendas?
I think it was the latter. There was a belief by government that the population figures in Mandera were manufactured. They claim that, you see, when you do, I worked as an enumerator one time in Garissa.
Yes, yes, yes.
So you always start with a baseline. You have the previous figures.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then when you go to this now villages, you go to every village, you try and take down the name of the household, the head of the household,
Yes,
how
yes,
many
yes.
children he has.
Yes.
At some point, you will see enumerators just filling the forms. They are told this is the village has got 200 people,
Yes,
so
yes,
now
yes.
they start filling their own form.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
the assumption in the government was that some of the figures coming out of Mandera were not accurate. But you see, you cannot, again, you cannot just say we're going to reduce by 1 million. Unless there was a massacre or some big epidemic which kill people, you cannot just how do you reduce the population figure by 1 million, for example? So it is always a push and pull factor. The only best way to do is to look at the forms,
Yes, yes,
the actual forms.
yes, yes.
That requires a lot of work.
Okay, okay. And again,
But again, you have to know
yes,
population equals to boundary limitation equals to constituencies, wards, and resources.
it's
You have to,
all
you must
about
always
resources.
link. They all link together.
Yes.
There's a direct thread
Yes,
between
yes,
the
yes, yes,
population
yes.
census
Yes.
to power
Mm,
and the resource. Yeah.
Everything that I write, hapa, these are interesting points in this book, just scratching the surface. Kuna Kathy Kilonzo.
Yes.
Her father dies, Senator Mutula Kilonzo. Then they front her because she was very popular in the representation
Yes.
at the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm.
They yes, she's been fronted by CORD then.
Yeah.
Right? And part of the qualification is that she has to have
Registered voter
registered voter.
in a county.
And she comes and confirms. And this is a very difficult spot for the commission because you're going through step by step to prove
Yes.
that she is actually a registered voter. Right? What is your reading of this situation as all this? What was the politics that was going on here?
The first thing is that, of course, those who wanted her to contest for her father's seat in the government
Yes.
knew what they did. I suspect it is them who helped her to get the false voter ID card.
Yes.
And then when she turned against the Jubilee and went for CORD, now they unleashed the case against her. That's the bottom line. If she, I don't know whether we will have even known if she had gone with the
If she had run
Yes.
with the Jubilee,
because it's only those who stole for her or stole with her could out her.
because the green book, you say, it's the green book where her slip was removed, was the book that was used to register President Kibaki and Mama Lucy.
Only 3, and her and herself. So that booklet had only 2 taken out from that, one for Kibaki and his wife.
Yes, yes, yes.
So now the third one happened to be for Kepi.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
The whole story kwa hapa, chukua kitabu ujisomee. Dealing with public opinion.
Yeah.
Is we've covered that to a bit, enda usome peke yako.
For public opinion,
Yes.
you know, there's something called Perception Survey Index, PSI. It was done by National Democratic Institute, NDI, to help the commission. In 2016, I think 2015, when we were having very bad publicity, the level of confidence in the country on the commission was down to 32% from 86%. And they told us, because they did a very fair and the town hall meetings across the country, and they gave me the feedback.
Yes.
People, they said,
Yes.
they said 86% of information about the commission was coming from elsewhere, from media, from Twitter, from Facebook, from whatever.
Yes. Yes.
Only 14% was coming from the commission.
Yes.
So our public perception was based on information they were getting from others.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I think if you want to manage public perception, you must always be on the media. My experience now.
If you want to manage
Yes,
public perception,
you must be in the media, always, and talk to people about what you're doing, whether they agree with you or not. But at least always be out there telling your story.
But I think the concept works both privately as it does publicly, because I read about your story with Gladys Boschole.
Yes.
Right? You say that you had, like, for lack of a better word, a rough engagement with her in court, and when you later meet her and get to know her story, you felt bad about what they were dealing with as a people. If you were to, let's say, for example, for someone who's watching, about how we engage, I think it's I appreciate something that happens on Twitter nowadays. When someone brings a case, there's a concept of, we want to hear the other side too.
Yes. Oh yeah, very important.
That's that's one of the most beautiful things I've seen.
Twitter.
Yes. And on the social space. I don't think Facebook has that, but Twitter, they say, I'm not commenting till I hear the other side.
Yes, even TikTok.
That has it too. Right? If you are to tell someone about, you already told us that you don't believe everything you see in the media. And it's painful because I also saw something else in the media that changed my perspective. A police officer had been reported as a gangster, and that he was killed and guns recovered. And then after that, very many years later, they do a documentary that he was actually killed for something else, right? So don't believe. So if you are to advise someone on how to process information based on your experience, how should one make judgment in a world where information is coming from every side?
I'm sorry to say this, but I don't watch the news myself.
You don't?
I don't actually. I don't know. The last time I watched it was when I was leaving the commission in 2016 or 2017, 8 years ago. And even when I was in the commission as chairman, I had stopped watching the news. I used to watch National Geographic, air crash investigation, or the comedy, the Jon Stewart daily show.
Yes.
I watch, or even your comedy, but not to be news.
Not at all.
Yes. And
because it will affect.
I know, because it's a lie also. They are also peddling lies. But I think the new media now is more independent.
Yes.
So I think I when I want to look for news, I go to Twitter or TikTok.
Yes.
I don't go to the Nation page or CNN or BBC, no.
And make judgment.
Yes. Yeah, that's why you find, because now you see the actual stories there.
Okay. Okay. You mentioned when you leave the commission, and when you leave the commission, there's something very interesting concept, just the same way you explained to us boundary delimitation. The concept of group dynamics.
Yes.
The forming stage, storming stage, norming stage, and performing stage.
Yes.
I forgot to ask, does it apply? You were aware of this.
Yes.
And before this conversation, you said, in most cases, we are in the storming stage. Please break it down for us. There's people who probably need to work in groups. And for the Kenyans watching, for any independent institution that we expect to serve people, the cabinet that left, Moses Kuria came out and said it was very dysfunctional, right? We have another cabinet of a team of rivals, as it has been described. How can Kenyans identify a group that is in operating the group, as in break down the group dynamics for us, so that mtu akiangalia anaweza sema wako kwa storming stage, wako kwa performing stage, or they're in the norming stage?
Okay.
Yes.
I think it depends on if you see a different message coming out from the leadership.
Yes.
From the leadership.
Yes.
Whether
Yes.
it's the chairman or the CEO or the vice chair. Different message coming out, which are contradicting each other. That's a very dysfunctional commission. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Once you start as a body, you come together, 9 of you. You are all from different backgrounds, different careers, different communities. But now you are guided by the law. Okay? It's very clear the law what we are going to do. But it's also the personal and the group dynamics. For some reason, you'll see 1 or 2 guys being more closer to one another. The lawyers, for example, I find that the lawyers in my commission, the lawyers myself, Tangule, Alawi, Mahiri, we are much easier to come together and agree on issues very quickly as lawyers.
Yes.
And you'll find also 2 other, the more senior civil servants, the older ones, again are having their own coalition. Okay? What they're calling the conservative wing of the commission and the radicals.
Yes.
And so these are group dynamics. And sometimes it's personality of the individuals.
Yes.
And also the leadership also has a lot of what happens in the group dynamics.
Yes.
I do not take side myself, but the forming stage, when you are all formed, you have been appointed, now you have been formed.
Yes.
Now, once you do that, once you come into the office, now you see commissioners being appointed, the chair of the Human Resource Committee, chairman of the Finance Committee. So now you'll begin to see now movement of people now trying to assert the authority. Okay, this is now you want to flex your muscles and find your space.
Yes.
So that's now the storming stage. You will see it happening between the commissioners themselves and between the commissioners and the secretariat.
Okay. Yes.
And then, as with the fight, you get memorandums from each of the commissioners or the CEO, and you find you try to call them for a meeting. You make all this. Eventually, now you are going to accept. Okay, this is your boundary. This is mine. This is how we're going to work. That's now the norming stage. Now you norm. Norm is from the norm. The word norm is law.
Yeah.
It's the normative stage, the norming stage.
Yes.
So now you are working together because you understand or you know your role. And once you do that, then now you can perform. Okay, you understand now.
Yes.
I can't explain it to the cabinet the way because I've never sat in the cabinet.
I understand.
But when I talk to commissioners, as an election consultant with the UN, for example, I went to Somalia. I trained the Somali Electoral Commission, Afghanistan, South Sudan, Namibia. So I always do this thing. I draw for them the forming, the storming, norming, and then performing. And I ask them which stage are you? And they always point to the third one, storming. Yeah, they always storming. So,
which means in this same analogy, when a new government takes power, because I believe this system is universal.
Yeah.
Before a whole government starts performing for people in a 5-year term, there's a lot of infighting.
Of course.
There's a lot of group dynamics that the net effect is the cost to Kenyans in terms of the expectation.
Yeah.
Oh dear Lord.
Mazia, asanteni sana because you guys are our partners too. Thank you and keep the feedback flowing. So far from the first part, in case you missed the first part of this conversation, the first segment, we have pinned a link in the description below. Ama kwa comment section pia tumeka link yenye ukiclick directly after umemaliza hii, you can watch that. The feedback kwa comment, we appreciate. Tuko na Joshua Etiang. You began watching us from ukiwa class 7 in 2016. Good vibes, maze. Shout out to you. Asante sana. Samson Liu, thank you. Great job. The channel is great and informative. I'm excited for the next part of this interview. Asante. This is a special dedication, maze, kwako na kwa kila mtu ametupea feedback. Please check on the issue of your videos hanging mid-interview at minutes 10:10. Kenneth Mwaura, asante sana for that. Tulikuwa tunafikiria hiyo ni hiccup ya net by the way, but we are going to get that sorted. Seriously good content, and you have developed, you need to develop the quality of your video. Montage, ya haya nana. Naze mkono majina hapa nje. Bishop is our editor. Hiyo ni yako. Keep that check. Alafu unasema you're a video editor. Hiyo ni Nana. Feel free to reach out mazi. Channel zetu ziko open. We'll do our best to make sure we respond to as many people as possible. Hii ndio sababu tunafanya hizi vitu. Collins Koech aliniambia anataka kuanza show kama yetu. We reached out. I think hiyo tulikuwa tusha reply. Asante, keep the feedback coming. More and more parts zina come, alafu more good vibes pia coming through. Otherwise, asante sana.